Welcome back. On today's episode, Erwin believes in nature spirits. I know, I know. Homo! What? No, I may have to start this one over. No, I'm gonna keep going. List of nature deities. We're really talking more elementals today. But, if we're talking elementals, let's mention some nature gods. Let's see. We had them in panentheism, pantheism, deism, polytheism, animism, totemisms, shamanisms, paganisms, isms. Let's see. What cultures have had them? Oh, turns out all of them. And then let's go. Well, us Christian Europeans, we're smart. We're not like these crazy Asians who have God of water, God of wind, God of fire. We're not like those silly Asians. We're here the European. Oh my God, there's so many. And they keep, and then we get to the Greeks. Oh man. Oh man, we got Dryads, we got Dionysus, we got Artemis, of course. Don't get me started on them nymphs. Yeah. They didn't just make these up out of nothing. These aren't just anthropomorphication of natural things. Some of it, yes. Some not fully understanding how certain things work. Yeah, I'll give you that. But it doesn't explain it all. That is for sure. God of the sun. Elemental. Let's get back up. Producer! Oh wait, is this am I a bad boy? Alright, okay, let's see. We still can't see it all? Alright. Oh crap. Nope. There we go. Yeah, let's get them hot ass Greek statues in up in here. Baby, shake it, girl. Shake it. Elementals. Mythic being that is described in occult and alchemical works. And pretty much every major religion and culture throughout history. But no, it's just for the crazies. The elements of earth, water, air, and fire were classified as the fundamental building blocks of nature. This system prevailed in the classical world and was highly influential in medieval natural philosophy, thanks to our guy Paracelsus. And he regarded them not so much as spirits, but as beings between creatures and spirits. Somewhere between man and the spirit side. Not quite fully spirit, they got individualness, but not quite super individual like man. Generally being invisible to mankind, but having physical and commonly humanoid bodies. It's almost like the humanoid form is common throughout the galaxy, universe, and even the spirit side. The more and more I keep reading about certain things, the more and more I think the idea of God as an old white man with a beard and a robe and a staff. God may not be, but a lot of beings and angels show themselves that way. Even when, if they take a form, humanoid, quite popular. Human. Old dude with the beard, old wise man. It's not just us who like the old wise man. Apparently the spirit side does as well. And so does the source, heaven, God side. They also eat, sleep, and wear clothes like humans. What? These spiritual beings wear clothes and eat and sleep and stuff? Interesting. So we've got undines, sylphs, gnomes, and salamanders. Undines. Whew. Undines are almost invariably depicted as being female and are usually found in forest pools and waterfalls. The group contains many species, including Nereids, fucking Greek, Limnads, Naiades, and mermaids. That one I can do. Although resembling humans in form, they lack a human soul. I don't think that means they lack a soul. They just lack a human soul. So to achieve mortality, they must acquire one by marrying a human. They like coming out of the water and marrying men. They're trying to steal our soul. Such a union is not without risk for the man, because if he is unfaithful, then he is fated to die. Do not cheat on a mermaid. Them redheads are fiery. All right, they will turn straight salamander on your ass. So, I've been reading a lot of Dolores Cannon. Oh, I guess I got to do this. Dolores Cannon. And when I'm reading, she actually has someone who in their past life regression went to a life as a mermaid. So I just thought I'd share it. Legally, just an excerpt for educational purposes, thank you. She spent several minutes describing in and out of beautiful colors and patterns until she emerged from the tube and felt like she was still underwater, but in a larger body of water like the ocean. It's like she was transported there. There's nothing scary there at all. It's just feeling the fluidity of things. Beautiful patterns of light. Now I feel like I'm out of the water sitting there. Now I have awareness of myself. Because if you're like a water being and you're inside the ocean, you really feel like you are part of the ocean. So getting out of it makes her feel more individual, has more of an awareness of herself. It seems like I have a tail. But I think I'm human too. I think maybe I'm a mermaid? Oh, there I go again. I made the plunge back into the water. I checked that out and I went back in the water again. It's beautiful down here with so many things to explore, and I keep moving around. There's so much space down here, so many beautiful colors. Now that she had finally settled in form, I asked her to describe herself. Long hair. I have a large tail. I feel very feminine, very beautiful, and very playful, very childlike. I mean, just spirits in general, we, on the spirit side, we're basically playful children. I mean, that's why all this is even happening, because we got bored in God and said, let us go out and create and play and have fun and explore. It's just like a playground. There's so much to explore. I look up at the top of the water because I'm curious about it. I want to know what's up there, so I take little swims to take chances. I want to go outside of this nice, comfortable space to see what's on the surface. I just did that before I took the plunge, just to check it out. But you didn't want to stay there? There was nothing to see, so I checked it out and I'm doing more exploring. I am very happy. To be young again. And also a mermaid. So that's water. Sylphs. Now we're talking air. Yeah, they've pretty much just been turned into machinery for the playwright. Opera figurantes with wings of gauze and spangles. Sylphs, according to Paracelsus, are rougher, coarser, taller, and stronger than humans. The air elementals are rougher, coarser, taller, and stronger than humans? Shouldn't that be like the earth elementals, not air elementals? Because of this, sylphs are the closest to humans in his conception because they move through air like we do. While in fire they burn, water they drown, and in earth they get stuck. What's going on, guys? Something's going on. Something is going on. Gnomes. Now we're talking earth. Who doesn't love a good gnome? I know I have more than a few on my shelves. Paracelsus describes them as 2 spans high, very reluctant to interact with humans, and able to move through solid earth as easily as humans move through air. The earth-dwelling spirit has precedence in numerous ancient and medieval mythologies. Numerous. Maybe they were onto something. Often guarding mines and precious underground treasures. notably in the Germanic dwarfs and the Greek. Some Greek words. Gnomes. They dug too deep. Salamanders. Oh boy, are salamanders in folklore. Apparently they like to hide under logs, and then you throw them in the fire, and then the fire starts and the salamanders are like, oh crap, and they escape, and everyone thinks they came from the fire. So there you go. Okay, there's some natural stuff for them and fire and all that stuff. But I think there's something else there too. Salamander is mentioned in the Talmud. That means you have to believe it or else you're anti-Semitic. As a creature that is a product of fire, and it relates that anyone who is smeared with its blood will be immune to harm from fire. Sounds good. You guys try it first. Rashi, the primary commentator on the Talmud, describes the salamander as one which is produced by burning a fire in the same place for 7 years. I'm about to accuse these Jews of witchcraft. Not getting away from the more specific elementals, we got Pan, the god of the wild, shepherds and flocks, nature of mountain wilds, rustic music, and impromptus. Impromptus are literally guitar solos. And companion of the nymphs. Phew, phew. The god of fields, groves, wooded glens, and often affiliated with sex. Phew, phew. Because of this, Pan is connected to fertility in the season of spring. Man, all I'm saying is if I end up in a pantheon, I'll take God of fertility, thank you. Do I have any more? I don't think so, no. Fairies. Phew, phew. God, I wish I could whistle. Various folk theories about the origins of fairies include casting them as either demoted angels or demons in a Christian tradition. Christians aren't big fans of female empowerment. As minor deities in pagan belief systems, as spirits of the dead, as prehistoric precursors to humans, or as elementals. A recurring motif of legends about fairies is the need to ward off fairies using protective charms. Many of these sorts of spiritual, spirit, elemental beings, some of them are a little mischievous. Some could say tricksters. So sometimes you gotta wear some protective charms against fairies. Sometimes fairies leave you gifts. Sometimes fairies kind of steal stuff. Common examples of such charms include church bells. You'd think fairies would like bells and resonance and all that. Wearing clothing inside out. You can't make me wear inside out clothes because I already made them inside out. 4-leaf clover. And food? Such charms as food. Fairies were also sometimes thought to haunt specific locations and to lead travelers astray using will-o'-the-wisps. Yeah, it sounds like fairy might just be a big catch-all term for a lot of different groups of beings. Before the advent of modern medicine, fairies were often blamed for sickness, particularly tuberculosis and birth deformities. Fairies took my job. Fairies have gotten a little bad rap. So let's read about another Dolores Cannon story. Dolores Cannon story. Where someone experiences life as a fairy. When Bobby came off the cloud, she was in the legal aid. This is for educational purposes. She was in the country and saw men in metal armor, chain-link suits, holding spears. She saw one battalion riding on horses, going to war, helmets and eagle crest on their uniforms. She was in a clearing in the woods between trees, watching the army go by. Just faring about, watching men kill each other. This went from the normal to the strange when I asked about her body. I'm shimmering, like a fairy being. I'm made of golden light. I'm giggly and sweet. When you are lighter, when you're more connected to the universe, God, the source, you are very much more childlike, much more sweet, innocent, happy, which is probably goes for a lot of these elementals, except some are a little more malevolent, usually more of the fire nature. That's racist against fire beings. There are sparkles of light on my neck and my wrists. I'm not part of the human world. I have no connection to the army people. I read something similar. They're not connected to our world, generally invisible. They don't see me. They're very focused. They have somewhere to go. I'm very happy here in the woods, and I connect with the spirits. I live in the spirit world in the woods, but it's only one part of me. There's another part of me that belongs up there in the clouds. There are many invisible spirit beings that come and go. I feel them everywhere. People see them as fireflies, but they're not. They're spirit beings with a very orderly existence. I'm more visible than they are. You can see me as a shimmering kind of human. Think this might be more than just not having modern medicine and blaming fairies for birth deformities and take my job. I think there might be something there. Apsara. We're going to the Hindus and the Buddhists. English translation of the word Apsara include nymph, fairy, celestial nymph, celestial maiden. What are we talking about when we're talking celestial? We're talking outer space and the heavens. What? Outer space and the heavens? Those are the same word? They're interchangeable? Yeah. Wonder why. In Indian mythology, Apsaras are beautiful, supernatural female beings. We'll give a little example for a second. Just looking for educational purposes. For educational purposes. Oh, God. This is just I mean, I guess she's kind of pretty. If you're into that sort of pretty Asian girl thing. They are youthful and elegant. And superb in the art of dancing. You know how them Indians love to dance. God, that Bollywood dancing. I can't watch choreographed musicals and dance numbers. I can't do it. Oh my God, Bollywood, like, I just want to implode from cringe. They are often wives of the Gandharvas. For distinct heavenly beings in Hinduism, Buddhism, and Jainism. It's also a term for skilled singers in Indian classical music. Okay, they're the court musicians of Indra. You know, because gods have court musicians. Sound is really powerful and important. So I'm assuming that's what that, like the Abrahamic God has choirs of angels and beings that always have to sing. And if they stop singing, like, creation stops. And so I think it just goes, that's more just getting into the importance of sound. And I mean, the outer space and planets literally make music. I mean, it's not particularly musical to us, but it's certainly musical, and it's certainly a crazy information. Probably jam-packed with information. It's like dolphins or whale song. To us, it's like, it's interesting, and you kind of see how that could be higher stuff, but it's like, if you got the ears to hear and the mind to translate, it's heavily, incredibly dense, full of information. So court musicians of Indra. That's probably more what we're talking about. And then my hotties here. Whew. They dance to the music made by the Gandharvas, usually in the palaces of the gods. Celestial palaces, palaces of gods, flying through the heavens, occasionally waging wars. We have different names for those now. entertain and sometimes seduce gods and men. Whew. As ethereal beings who inhabit the skies and are often depicted taking flight. Feathered serpents, anyone? Or at service of a god. What sort of service? They may be compared to angels who are angelic sex slaves. I know. I'm going to get some Apsaras stealing my stuff. Of course, I'm going to blame it on them goddamn fairies. Apsaras are said to be able to change their shape at will, get a little bustier, and rule over the fortunes of gaming and gambling. The angels of gambling and gaming. So if I get a terrible team in Overwatch, is it her fault? Why'd you put those noobs on my team? Fix it, devs. Apsaras are sometimes compared to the muses of ancient Greece. They are also associated with fertility rites. On to Yakshas. We're almost done, people. No one's watching. That's why we get to have fun here. And say racial slurs for fairies. What would a racial slur for a fairy be? Goddamn glitter jockeys! Yakshas are a broad class of nature spirits, usually benevolent, but sometimes mischievous or capricious. Well, I want to know what capricious means. Connected with water, fertilities, trees, the forest, treasure, and wilderness. So nature, treasure, and nature. So they have a dual personality. One hand, they may be an inoffensive nature fairy associated with woods and mountains, but there's also a darker version, which is a kind of ghost that haunts the wilderness and waylays and devours travelers, similar to the Rakshasas, which we may have to get in later. Man-eaters. We'll probably talk about them if we ever get around to talking about reptilians. I actually want to go ahead and open that up just in case. So they can be nice ones, but then they can also be ghost. Fairies are sometimes nice, but then sometimes they also like haunt where people died. So kind of fairies are like indie music. What kind of music do you like? I like indie music. Okay, so like some folk or like sort of EDM-ish or what kind of indie music? What kind of fairies? The goddamn fairies that took my job. Bunch of glitter monkeys. There are some benefits to people not watching your videos. So we like to have fun here. So we're ending it with a good one. Satyrs. A male nature spirit with ears and a tail resembling those of a horse, as well as a permanent, exaggerated erection. Oh my god, no, it just showed a picture of an erection. No, Wikipedia, I don't want to open the erection page. A permanent, exaggerated erection. The Satyrs were characterized by their ribaldry. This one does show up. This makes me happy. Ribaldry, or blue comedy, instead of like black comedy, is humorous entertainment that ranges from bordering on indelicacy to gross indecency. So from calling someone gay to dead baby jokes. Blue comedy is also referred to as bodiness or being body. Ooh, a body lass. Ooh. Those don't last long. They generally get killed. Women are generally sex slaves, especially when the economy doesn't exist and tyrants rule. Wait, oh my god, we're talking about the wrong channel. This channel is where we talk about permanent exaggerated erections. But yeah, blue comedy. If you like to be edgy, apparently that's called blue comedy. Satyrs, they were into blue comedy. Not surprising considering their permanent exaggerated erections. They were also lovers of wine, music, dancing, and women. No shit. They were companions of the god Dionysus and were believed to inhabit remote locales such as woodlands, mountains, and pastures. They often attempted to seduce or rape nymphs and mortal women alike. They hung out with Dionysus. They should have been hanging out with Zeus. Usually with little success. They are sometimes shown masturbating or engaging in bestiality. No, we're not talking. No, this is Greek. We're not talking Muslim. No, it's the other channel. Elementals, I don't know what's up, but there is something up. There are many forms of consciousness and ways to experience God's creation. And some being that's like connected to nature, the Buddhists have their devas and stuff. The beings somewhere between nature and man and angels and God, somewhere in that spectrum. Nature spirits with consciousness. Souls and consciousness and sentience, maybe not quite like what human souls have, but like once they go out of there, they could incarnate as a human and have a human soul. I think they're real. Now, do they all have raging boners? I don't know. That's up to you to discern. God bless, Godspeed, and permanent exaggerated erections for all.